Do you want strong, thriving tomato plants in your backyard garden? It starts with how you transplant them. Today, I'm sharing the must-know steps to get your tomatoes off to the best start possible. Let's dig in. Welcome back to Homegrown, your backyard garden podcast. I'm Kathy, your host, and today we're talking all about transplanting tomatoes. If you've ever brought home a few tomato plants from the garden center, eager to plop them in the ground on the first sunny spring day, only to find them looking sad and wilted by the next morning, well, you're not alone. Seriously, I've made just about every tomato planting mistake in the book over the years, and I'm here to help you avoid them. We'll cover when and how to transplant your tomatoes so they get off to the best start possible. Before we get started, head on over to my website, Oak Hill Homestead, and pick up your free copy of my tomato cheat sheet that gives you the rundown on how to grow incredible tomatoes. You'll find the link in the description for this episode. First things first, timing is everything. Tomatoes are not fans of the cold. They shiver in temperatures below 50 degrees. And if you plant them before your last frost date, well, let's just say it'll be a short-lived experiment in plant survival. Your average frost date is a guideline, not a guarantee. Spring weather can be unpredictable, so always check the forecast before transplanting. A surprise frost can wipe out your tomato plants overnight. If you do get caught with a cold snap after you have planted, you can cover your plants with buckets, sheets, or even upside-down cardboard boxes. But honestly, it's best just to wait. Your plants will just sulk and sit there until the soil warms up anyway. One of the biggest mistakes new gardeners make is taking a tomato plant straight from a cozy indoor environment and plopping it into the harsh outdoors. That's like stepping off a plane from Florida into a snowstorm in Montana without a coat. Your plants are going to freak out. So you need to harden off your plants first. Hardening off means gradually getting your plants used to the outdoor conditions. Start by placing them outside in a shady spot for a few hours a day, bringing them back in at night. Over the next 10 to 14 days, slowly increase their exposure to the sun and wind until they can handle full sun all day and stay outside overnight. Yes, this takes patience, up to 2 weeks, but trust me, your plants will thank you. I like to transplant in the early evening when the sun isn't blazing. If you can plant before a stretch of cloudy days, even better. Avoid transplanting right before a heat wave or heavy rainstorm. I also check that the soil temperature is consistently above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, even overnight. Cold soil slows down the growth of your plants, and tomato plants need warmth to thrive. Okay, here's my step-by-step method to transplant tomatoes the right way. First, give them plenty of space. Tomato plants need good airflow, so plant them 18 to 24 inches apart. I know they're so tiny, and it sounds like overkill, but they will grow big and they will need that much room later in the season. Water the hole first. Pour water into the planting hole and let it soak in before you add the plant. Bury them deep. Unlike most plants, tomatoes can be planted very deep. You can and should bury up to 2/3 of the stem. If your plant is leggy and too tall to put in a hole, you can even lay it sideways in a trench. To do this, dig a shallow trench and lay the plant on its side, gently curving the top portion with the leaves upward and above the ground. Cover the lower stem with soil, leaving only the top few leaves exposed. The buried stem will quickly grow extra roots, and your tomato plant will have a strong foundation. Since they get so big by the end of the summer, deep roots and a strong plant are very important. Next, I add amendments to the soil. I mix in a handful of blood meal and bone meal to give my tomatoes a nutrient boost right from the beginning. And finally, water them well. After planting, form a shallow moat around each plant to hold the water. For the first week, water daily to help those roots get established. If your plants look wilted the day after transplanting, don't panic. That's called transplant shock. the plant will usually recover in a day or two. To minimize this stress, make sure that you harden them off properly, plant in the evening or on an overcast day, water consistently but don't overdo it, and provide temporary shade if the sun is too intense. Tomato plants need support, whether it's a sturdy cage, a trellis, or stakes. If you wait too long, you'll be wrestling with an unruly jungle of vines later. I always install my supports at planting time. It's so much easier than trying to add them later without damaging those roots. Tomatoes thrive when they're planted alongside the right companion plants. Basil is a classic partner. It can help improve tomato flavor and repel pests. Marigolds deter nematodes and other harmful pests, while onions and garlic can keep aphids at bay. Avoid planting tomatoes near members of the Brassica family, like cabbage or broccoli, because they compete for the same nutrients. Tomatoes are hungry plants. I start them off with that blood meal and bone meal at planting time. Then I feed them with diluted fish emulsion every 2 weeks over the summer. But be careful, because too much fertilizer can lead to lots of leaves and very few tomatoes, so don't overdo it. Let's review these tomato transplant tips. First, harden off your seedlings properly so they'll be acclimated to the outdoors. Second, wait for the ideal weather conditions. Don't be in a hurry. Your soil temperature should be above 50 degrees Fahrenheit, even overnight. Make sure there's no threat of frost in your forecast, that there's no heat wave or heavy rain predicted. I like to do my transplanting in the evening or on a cloudy day so the sun doesn't bake my plants as soon as they go in the ground. Plant your seedlings 18 to 24 inches apart. I know they don't need that much space right now, but believe me, they will. Bury the roots deep in your soil or your pot, leaving just the top of the plant above ground. Use the trench method if your plant is really leggy. Water the transplants well, and water them daily for the first week. After that, you can slowly taper off until they are on an ideal watering routine for your climate. Provide support, stakes or cages or a trellis. Your plants are going to get huge and they will need support, and the best time to add it is now so you don't damage the roots later. Consider companion planting with basil, nasturtiums, garlic, and other plants that will benefit your tomatoes and help to deter the pests that could plague your plants. And don't forget to fertilize your plants throughout the growing season. Before we wrap up, don't forget to grab your free Tomato Tips cheat sheet. This one-page printable contains my best advice for growing strong, healthy tomato plants that produce an abundance of fruit. You can download it at my website, Oak Hill Homestead. I'll put the link in the description. Tomatoes are one of the most popular plants in backyard gardens and very rewarding to grow. With the right start, you'll be harvesting juicy, homegrown tomatoes this summer. I hope today's episode gives you the confidence to transplant your tomatoes like a pro and give them the best chance of thriving in your garden. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd leave a review or share it with a fellow gardener. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for hanging out in the garden with me today. I'll see you next time on Homegrown, your backyard garden podcast.